So I want you to imagine two scenarios. The first scenario is that you are getting paid online while attending meetings all day. All right. And then imagine another scenario of getting paid online while attending a single meeting, or without attending a single meeting. Let me just say without attending a single meeting, or attending one meeting in a week, depending on the company policy. Which of these actually sounds better? Yeah. So one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about remote work is that all remote jobs are the same. They're not the same. That is why you'll get some people are very free during the day and working at night, and some people are very occupied at night. They're very free at night and they're working in the day. In fact, most remote jobs fall in these two categories: the sync type and the async type. And that is what we are going to talk about. There are two different types of remote work that I would love you to actually know from today onwards. So today I'm going to explain exactly what sync and async remote work are. And I'm going to give you real examples of the jobs in each category. And I'm going to explain the pros and the cons and help you decide on which one is better for your lifestyle, for your career, and the goals that you have for your life. So if you're trying to get into remote work, or you're trying to transition, like this is your first job into working online, this video is going to save you a lot of confusion that come with remote work. So let me introduce myself. My name is Jan Butler. I am a project manager who works remotely with healthcare startups. I help them to monetize, to scale on digital platforms. The other thing that I do is that I run Coaching Academy, where we help people who want to get into remote work. We help them with support like CVs, LinkedIn, coaching, interview preparation, AI interview preparation, the 1 minute introductory video, and any help that someone might need for them to get into remote work. And if you're joining my channel for the first time, I would love you to just go down there and actually subscribe. I mean, guys, just subscribe so that this content can reach more people. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, comment, share, engage, so that I get to know what is it that is going on your mind and what you might think about this channel. All right. So let's start with the sync type of remote work. That is our topic today. The word synchronous, sync actually stands for synchronous work. Synchronous work. Whatever your high school teacher told you, or your primary kindergarten teacher told you how to name this. And so it simply means working at the same time as your team. Even though everyone is working remotely, employees are actually expected to be online during specific hours. That is the sync type of work. Think of it as a traditional office job, except that you're working from home. All right. So example of such careers include customer support representatives, live chat agents, virtual assistant receptionists, sales representatives, appointment setter. All of you guys are going to work sync type of work. These roles often require you to log in at a certain time and stay available through your shift. If your team is supposed to log in from 9 to 5 p.m., you're expected to be available during those hours. And sometimes the 9 to 5 p.m. is actually the US time. So that is why you hear people saying, oh, I'm logging into work at 3 p.m. to 11, because they're working the US time. All right. So let me give you a real life example of how sync work actually looks like. So imagine you're working as a customer support or a customer service representative for an e-commerce company. All right. So you've gotten a role, you're working as a customer support person in an e-commerce company. Your shift starts at 8 a.m. So at 8 a.m., you have to log in into your Slack, you have to log in into your Intercom, you have to log in into your Zendesk, and actually you're supposed to also be on your email so that you can be able to respond to emails that are there. Because customers are going to start to send messages and you have to respond immediately. So if a customer has a problem, they expect real-time answer. If your manager sends a message, they're expecting you to reply quickly. So you cannot be away from your laptop, even when you're working from home. You can't be in your kitchen, guys. You cannot be in your bedroom while your laptop is in the sitting room. So in this role, your availability actually matters just as much as your skills. You're being paid only you're being paid not only for your work but also for your presence during these specific hours. So that is a case scenario of a sync type of work. What are the advantages and the disadvantages of sync work? So let's talk about the pros and cons for such type of a work. So number one is that the advantages that you have is that you have structured schedule. So you have no option as a person. You have to structure your schedule according to the company and whatever the company needs. Number two, you know exactly when you actually structured schedules, I can actually break it down more that you know exactly when you're working and when you're off. So you know that this is your time for work and you know that this is the time for you to be off. Number two is that you have faster communication. All right. Questions get answered immediately. So it's very easy to communicate through that. Number three is that it's easier for beginners. So if you're starting out as a beginner, I would recommend that you actually take the sync type of work because many entry level jobs are synchronous. All right. So disadvantages that we have for this is that there is less flexibility. That means that you have to always be logging in at a certain time, log out at a certain time, so you can disappear. You can't disappear in the middle of your shift. Actually, you can, unfortunately. And then number two, there's a huge challenge when it comes to time zones. So you may have to work evenings or nights if your employer is another country, is in another country. So let's say they're in the US or the UK, you have to actually align with their time zone. Number three is that you're going to have more meetings and many check-ins. And some of the time, some people actually find this very exhausting. Actually, I had a meeting and someone said that the many meetings find them quite very exhausting. So you might have many meetings and many check-ins, and this might be very exhausting. So let's talk about the other type of remote work, the async type of remote work. So the async actually means that people do not have to work at the same time. You complete your tasks and submit them before the deadline, and nobody cares whether you have worked at 8 a.m., at 2 p.m., or midnight, so long as you've already worked and you've actually have submitted. And that is the type of work that I do. I have a sync type of work where I'm a project manager. I just do my projects, and then we meet at the end of the week for a meeting. And then I submit whatever I'm supposed to submit at the end of the meeting, and we finish at that. So that means that I also need to really, really plan my time so that I can be able to get the deadlines right. So as long as the work gets done, you're good. This is one of the reasons many people dream about the async work because it offers a tremendous freedom and flexibility. And I know even you, as you're watching me, you are actually saying, can't I just get an async type of work? Yeah, but it comes with a lot of cost. So what is a real life example of working on a same type of work? So imagine you're a content writer. Content writer, hello. So imagine you're a content writer and your client gives you an assignment on Monday and they need you to do blog post by Friday. You can choose to work in the morning, you can choose to work in the evening, you can choose to work in the weekend because the client does not need the constant updates. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. They simply want quality work and you have to deliver it on time. That is the time that you guys have decided that you're going to deliver. So what are the common roles that you can actually be able to do in Async? Number one is content writing, I think I've said, copywriting, graphic designers, video editors, social media managers, data analysts, software developers, AI specialists, project managers. So there's so much more that you can do with Async type of work. These jobs are heavily focused on outcomes and deliverables and not the time that you're going to spend. All right. So whatever time that you're going to choose is up to you. What are the advantages and the disadvantages? Everything that has a pro has a con. So let's talk about the pros. The pros is that the number one, there's so much freedom. You can control your schedule. Number two is that there is a better work-life balance. Actually, you can be able to balance your work through that. Number three is that uh, there is less micromanagement. So managers care more about the results than the hours and everything around that. But there are also cons, the disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? Number one, it requires self discipline. Imagine there is no logging in to work every day. So you have to set up your mind that there's a time that you have to work and actually deliver whatever it is that you need to deliver. So nobody's constantly checking on you. So that means that you have to check up on yourself, which is very hard at some point when you're working remotely. I can tell you guys, I've worked remotely. So number two, communication can be slower because sometimes you can send an email and then someone is not working, is not at work at that point in time, they're cruising. So they take like another day for them to reply the email because they already finished working their hours. So it takes very long to actually communicate. And so your communication has to be very clear so that you don't have to have a lot of back and forth when it comes to async type of work. And it is not ideal for people who need structure. Some people actually struggle without fixed schedules. And so it is advisable that if you struggle with that, just go for the other type of work. So which one do people usually choose? Most people that actually have gotten most of my students that I've met, most of my clients that I've talked to, most people that I've talked to actually start with synchronous jobs. All right. Why? Because the sync jobs are often easier to enter and there are more openings. in actually the careers that we have, like customer service, virtual assistant, appointment setting, and sales. These roles actually help you to actually gain an experience, build confidence, and then earn your first online income. And then after that, now you can transition. Once you gain the experience and develop specialized skills, you transition into asynchronous roles because they have a greater flexibility. And if you want greater flexibility, that is now when you transition. Most of you don't have the confidence of working remotely because you feel you don't have any experience. And so that means that you really need to um, try as much as possible you work synchronous, you gain the experience, then after that you transition. All right. For many people, sync work becomes stepping into async work. Think about that. Actually, you can actually have it as an async work. You can have async work and then you step into async work later on. So how do you decide which one is right for you? So do you like structure or flexibility? If you like structure, then sync may work for you. If you like flexibility, then async will work for you. And then are you self-disciplined? If you are self-disciplined, then async will work for you. Some of you are not self-disciplined. Some of you, if given a chance and you're told you work your own hours, you can actually be on your phone scrolling the whole day on your bed without doing anything. I know you guys. You're looking at me. I know you. And then, do you enjoy real-time interaction? If you like real-time interaction, then sync work role is going to be the best for you. And then, do you prefer project-based work? So for project managers like me, then this means that async work is going to be best for you. So neither of these options are actually better. The right choice depends on your personality, your goals, and the lifestyle that you need to have. All right? That is where it depends. So here is one of the most important things that I want you to remember. Remote work is not a one size fits all. Some people are going to thrive in their synchronous environments where team structure and real-time communication is there. And some people are going to thrive actually in the asynchronous uh, environments where you have the complete control over your own schedule and your time and structure and everything around that. The good news is that both paths actually can help you build a successful online career. And if you're just getting started, don't worry. There is too much. Don't worry about actually getting and finding the perfect job. Just focus on building your valuable skills, gaining your experience, and understanding how remote companies operate. I'd love to hear in the comment section, guys. This is the end of this video. I hope that you've learned something. I hope that you've chosen whatever you want to do for yourself. If you need help actually to get into remote work, this can be your chance just to reach out to me on my WhatsApp. The number is actually in the description box, or I can just mention it as 07 plus 254 plus 254 If you're able, just call that number. You're going to get me on the other side, and we can have a conversation about remote work. You can reach out to me on my WhatsApp. We can have a conversation. We help you in CV revamp, LinkedIn optimization services, AI interview preparation, general interview preparation, your journey generally, your journey through remote work. We even have a package that will support people from scratch until they get into remote work. Yes, we have that package. I knew you didn't. I know you don't know that we have that package. But all in all, if you're not going to reach out, please just subscribe on my YouTube channel. Imagine subscription box equal to half a genie. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and interact with my content so that you can push it to more people. Thank you so much and God bless you. See you at the top. Bye.